It gets no easier, friends, because a key 10-game road trip begins tonight in Florida.
The Giants have not seen the Marlins since when?
Yes, this is it. This is the key moment, the Cousins revenge.
Right.
Yes.
6-6, the Marlins threatening to go back ahead. Cousins at third.
I was sitting in the stands watching the game. A lot of the other wives had already gone down to the family room, with their kids because it was the 12th inning.
In the air, but certainly not that deep.
Sherholtz has the best arm.
I normally cringe when a runner tags from third or crosses third and there's a play at the plate.
Cousins is going to test it.
So I normally don't watch it, period, but I think I might have turned my head. I'm not sure if I even watched it then.
Cousins is going to try to score. Here comes the throw.
And Posey gets clobbered.
Posey just got destroyed at home plate.
After it happened, I saw him down and I immediately got up, and I don't really remember walking down. I was in shock.
Posey is hurt.
I could tell that it was just my leg, but understandably, from her standpoint, she didn't know if it was something really, really serious. Because if you look at the play, my head goes back pretty hard and it almost hits in the ground. I think that's probably her biggest concern, was that it's not anything spinal or it's not anything involved with my head.
At the time, I didn't know, but I remember him telling me he's okay, and I thank God that it wasn't worse, and he was able to hop off the field.
She was probably more shaken up about it than I was.
It shouldn't have happened. He left the plate open enough where he could have slid.
No, this is a wife's take on all this. Let's just make this clear.
That's all. I won't do it anymore. But that was my anger also. So there was a lot of mixed emotions. Here we are 10 weeks later, and he's just now starting to put a little pressure on it.
How about that? This game is over! Well, next week will mark 7 months since the now infamous home plate collision between Marlins outfielder Scott Cousins and Giants catcher Buster Posey. Posey, who was lost for the remainder of the season with multiple leg injuries, is progressing well in rehab and is expected to be ready to go by spring training. As for Cousins, not much has been heard from him since the collision. In fact, he hasn't done any sit-down TV interviews since that night in May in San Francisco. Until now. Here's Matt Yaloff.
What'd you think of the swing today?
Wasn't good.
It wasn't good.
No, but we got a lot of daylight left, so.
Yeah, so you're going to stay out here?
Yeah.
A player and his former college coach working in the offseason and getting ready for the upcoming year. Not all that unusual, unless that player was involved in one of the most controversial plays in recent memory, just a couple of miles from this college field.
Sherholtz has the best arm. Fairly shallow. More center than right.
You called it a perfect storm.
Yeah. I'm playing in my hometown. First time I played in San Francisco since college, and it's the 12th inning. And Bonifacio gets up and hits a fly ball into right field.
Cousins is going to test it.
I got to make something happen. The ball's not deep enough for me to just score easily or to even slide in. I got to make sure I knock the ball loose.
Posey can't handle it, and Posey gets clobbered. Posey is hurt.
I immediately checked on Buster to make sure he was okay. He wasn't, and I kind of signaled for some people to come out and check on him. And I kneeled down and I said, "Buster, are you all right, man?" And he just kind of groaned in pain, and that's when I knew something was wrong.
And that is a sobering sight for any Giants fan and for any baseball fan, one of the great young talents in the game.
What went on after the game?
I immediately tried to call over to their trainer. Couldn't get a hold of him, but I just knew something wasn't good here. I wanted to reach out and let him know that I was thinking about him.
So you did that right away?
Right away, right after the game. I was still in my uniform. Yeah, I was gonna go over to their clubhouse, but I was advised not to.
And then you did it again, a number of times, to try to get in touch with him?
Yeah.
He does an interview with Bob Costas in the summer, and he says, "Yeah, I didn't have the chance to talk to Scott Cousins." Did that strike you as kind of odd?
No, maybe he didn't. He was trying to get his leg fixed, and he was on the verge of having twins. I know that. So, you know, maybe he didn't have the chance. Maybe he still doesn't have the chance. I don't know. I mean, that's up to him. There was a lot of guilt in there, self-inflicted guilt, you know, just because I felt so horrible about ending a guy's season. And my coach, Nino, he had called me and just said, you know, your teammates need a guy like you.
We proceeded to talk throughout the next 2 weeks, probably every day. We finally got to a point where I said, Scott, look, that's one play. It's time for you to move on.
Around the league, people of note, baseball people, gave you support, right?
Yeah, tons of people. Jim Joyce, Don Baylor, Pete Rose, Chipper Jones, you know, a lot of big names in baseball reaching out to me. It was pretty special.
But in trying to move forward, you have the GM of the Giants, a guy you wanted to play for one day, Brian Sabian, coming out and saying that you tried to be a hero.
It was an avoidable situation, that's sad. If I never hear from Cousins again or he never plays another year until a day in the big leagues, I think we'll all be happy.
It hurt, I'm not going to lie. This is my hometown. This is the Giants were the team that I grew up watching and wanted to play for. But people sometimes in the heat of the moment say things that they regret.
And you talked to him about that?
We talked a little bit, and he expressed to me, you know, that he regretted the things he had said on air, and that we were all going to move forward. And I was, you know, that meant a lot to me that he reached out to me to explain himself.
There it is. Do you think he's past what went on the baseball field just a few miles from here?
You know, I think deep down in his core, I don't think Scott's ever going to be past it. But I think he's learned how to deal with it so that he could be successful as a human being.
When he starts to get on fire, you know he's going to keep it going.
What's it going to be like when you're announced and you step to the batter's box at AT&T Park the next time, because you haven't been up there since?
Who knows, you know? I anticipate a lot of boos, but hopefully Buster Posey's catching it and I can give him a pat on the back and let him know, you know, I'm happy for you that you made your comeback and that you're doing so well. That's what I hope, and that's what I anticipate. People are going to remember me for something unfortunate, and that's up to them. I can't change those opinions, but what I can do is be okay with what I did internally and move on.